Hey guys, it's Magnum, back again with another It's Tough podcast. I'm really enjoying this podcasting situation, and if you haven't already, go check out my Materialism podcast, which is a bunch of uncensored opinions by me, Magnum Traub. And I talk about materialism and the things that go along with materialism, and I give a social critique on the environment today. And I've been thinking about it, and for the first time in my life, this podcasting thing, or just in general, talking and getting my word out there with no censorship. No one, I don't give a fuck if anyone listens to anything, anybody likes anything. The truth is, my views were put out the exact way and in the exact fashion I wanted them to be. Now, sure, alright, my materialism podcast, my first one ever, could have been cleaner and could have been nicer and maybe a little bit more well-rounded. But in general, I think I gave people what they deserve. I gave them the exact way I would tell it. I said it the exact way I wanted it to be said. I did everything the exact way I wanted. I didn't edit it. I didn't clean it up. I didn't take out opinions that I thought, maybe people can't handle it. No, I just said exactly what was on my mind and what was in my head. And I gave you my opinion on it. And that's right. It's just like me, man. It's raw, uncensored, from the heart, Maybe from the brain. And if you don't like it, hey man, that's fine. If you did, if it found you, you can, but here's the thing. If you want, you can always email me at magnum.traub@icloud.com and give me a topic or ask me a question. Hell, I'll even have you on to talk. Well, because I need people to talk. And I like talking, I want to have a conversation about these things. But for the first time in my life, this podcast is something that's not defined. I'm not forced to fit into a square. I can do what I want when I want. And there's no person to say, oh, well, I think you need to work on this argument and that argument. And, well, this doesn't fit what we're looking for here, son. Yada, yada, yada. No, fuck you. I said exactly what I wanted to say. And, we've all had to go through this. We've all had that teacher in school that says, oh, well, you do this, that, and the other, and that's what will make your essay better. Well, fuck you, man. I don't agree. I think that my opinion and what I wrote on this essay was exactly what I wanted it to be. I think it was perfect, okay? Perfect in my own sense. I think it did what I wanted it to do. So don't tell me what the fuck I can do and what I should write and what would make my argument better. What the fuck do you know, you dumbass? Alright? Do I need to flush out my ideas? What about you? When have you flushed out your ideas? When you fucking give that shitty presentation or something doesn't work, your ideas weren't flushed out. When a fucking 16-year-old kid asks you a question in class and you get fucked up and all stuttery. Oh, what? You got fucked up there. Did you flush out all your ideas there? No. So don't judge me. Don't give me a grade. Don't think that you're better than me just because you're a teacher. You know what? Fuck you. I'm going to say what I want and no one can censor shit. And if you like it, great. Maybe you'll learn something. Maybe it brought up an idea. Maybe you have a question about it. Feel free to tweet me at TraubTrue. That's my new Twitter handle. Go check it out. It's pretty fire. Use the hashtag It's Tough if you want to actually get your question answered on the podcast. Okay, so I think it's time to get into the topic because I've had enough of venting about my stupid teachers, but I've got a little bit more to talk about when it comes to those teachers. I've been thinking about school and how it's fucked everyone up. And they talk about this unattainable goal, how social media and advertising nowadays and fucking Victoria's Secrets and this, that, and the other is perpetuating this idea of an unobtainable goal. But you know what really creates that unobtainable goal? School. School puts such a high mark on getting a 100. They say that this is your goal. This is the goal. Get perfection. Perfection is what we want. Perfection is what we desire. Perfection is what you strive for. And whenever you don't receive perfection, it's practically a failure. Okay? And I think that's a bunch of fucking bullshit. Because in life, is there any perfection? In life, is there any 100s? If you make $100,000 a year, or $1 million a year, or $100 million a year, which person got an A? None of them. Which one got 100? None of them. If If you're happy or you're sad, I think that's really what matters. You should do what makes you fulfilled on the inside, because that's what will actually make you happy and give you that rush of getting 100. We've all gotten a good grade on a test or an exam or an assignment, okay? How long does that rush of the good grade last? A day? No. An hour? Maybe. More like a minute. Okay, more like when you get it back, you're like, fuck, alright, I thought I did good, and now I did do good. You know how many times I got back something where I thought, you know what, I fucked this shit up, you know, I did it right. And no, this was wrong, that was wrong. And I'm not talking about in fact sense, I'm talking about in an opinion sense. No, it's all judgment. It's all based on their judgment. And in life, no one else is judging you. I mean, if you want to base your values on God or the president or, whoever the fuck, or society, none of that's going to work, okay? None of that is true value. You know what true value is? You know what value that will make you happy? Think to yourself. Think, what do I want? What would make me happy? And if you base your goals on what the president or God or any of those things, guess what? You will never be happy. If you base your happiness on whether you got 100, you'll never get it in life. Because in life, there are no 100s. There's no such thing as perfection. Okay? Imperfection in your own goal is perfection. Okay? You know why it's not fulfilling? Even if you get 100, even when you did get that 100, why it didn't last for that long? You know why? Because it's perfect by someone else's standards. If it's perfect when I turn it in, and it's beautiful, and it's exactly what I want, in my opinion, to be, then that should be 100 for me, and I should feel fulfilled. And that's an example of life. Okay? If in life you're looking for everyone else to look at you and give you a 100, no one's gonna say you're perfect in life. Because it's not true. Because you aren't perfect in everyone else's eyes. It's an impossible, unobtainable goal. Okay? Sure, alright, there are times when you write a paper where you need to clean up the rough edges and this, that, and the other. But in general, when you give your ideas, when you break your heart and soul down and talk and write an opinion that really matters to you, that is perfection. Okay? You have achieved perfection in your own eyes. And if that's all that matters, then so be it. But if you base all your ideas of perfection on someone else's, you'll always fail. You'll always come short. I mean, if you don't know what perfect is to you, what really is meaningful for you, delve into your subconscious, search for it, think about it, find what really matters. Experiment. Okay, see if you like this, you don't like this. What do you really need? I'll tell you, there's nothing like the fulfillment you get when you do something on your own and you actually are proud of it. And you gave your opinion and you came up with an idea that you found was meaningful and that represented, you know what it is? It's honestly representing you as the human that you are. That's all that matters. They tell you, I talked about this in my last podcast, I think. Maybe not, maybe in a different one. But they tell you how unique you are as a child. And then they tell you, fit into this, that, and the other, and conform in high school, conform in college, conform when you get a job. But isn't the truth that you are unique? I mean, everyone thinks differently, to an extent. And if that's the case, then shouldn't you have your own unique goals and your own ideals of perfection? So why don't you follow what you want and do what you think's valuable and build on that? Because without that, I mean, what's the point for humanity? Well, what's the point for any of this? What's the point for believing in something like you're worth something? If not, you might as well go fucking kill yourself now. I mean, there's no reason to do anything if you're just going to fall into what society wants or do something that doesn't make you actually happy and doesn't make you fulfilled. If you just follow the track, guess what? You're going to get the average results because you are the average. So what can you do to break through that? Excel in the unique. Excel in the great. Excel in something that is you. Okay? Because when it comes to you, you'll always win. You'll always achieve perfection. As long as you try your hardest, alright? As long as you know, I'm going to give this the best I can. And however it turns out, it turns out. I'm going to dedicate myself to this as much as I can. And if you do that, how can you fail? It's impossible. How can you not have achieved perfection in your eyes? It's impossible. You want to know why it's impossible? Because perfection is imperfect. I mean, there's no such thing as true perfection. I've said it a million times, I'm going to say it again. It's unobtainable goal. So be perfect in your eyes, in your heart, and in your mind, and just do the best you can for something you want to do, and that's true perfection. And that's what I feel. I mean, relating it back to myself, I've been in school for, however many years. I was homeschooled and this and that, and then I went to St. Stephen's, and now I'm going to FSU, and I've never been perfect. I mean, in English and history and all in my classes, I've given ideas, I've talked and I've spewed, and never once has a teacher been like, you know what, that was the perfect idea. But I disagree. I think not all my ideas are fucking gold. I understand that. But to me, most of my ideas make sense. And most of my ideas are pretty fucking logical. And if I break down someone else's idea, but they tell me, no, that's wrong. And just because they're in a place of power, they can execute some form of will over me. That's disgusting. Now, guess what? I'm 18. I'm an adult. And when you're an adult, you can do whatever you want. And you know what you should do when you're an adult? You should do what makes you happy and what's meaningful to you. And I talked about this in my last podcast. I'm not talking about just getting wasted and getting fucked up and living a life of decadence. No, that's retarded, okay? Not retarded. Yeah, it is. You know what? It's stupid. It's going to slow your growth as an individual. But you know what you should do? You should say, if I put my work, if I actually try to do something the best of my abilities, then I'll actually achieve something. Then I'll do something fulfilling to myself that makes me feel like I've grown as a human being. Okay, when you grow as a human being, you develop into some unique character that actually matters to yourself. You actually begin to care about your body. If you try to do something fulfilling, maybe you won't go out and party that night. You know why? Because I got a better plan. I got something that'll make me happier in the long run than just drinking those booze or going out and partying with my friends or hanging out with losers and wasting my fucking time. I don't want to waste my time. I want to make my time worth something. I'm going to give myself value by taking away the value you put on me. Do you understand that? That's what I'm doing now. And I think, that's all I got to say. I don't want to really talk anymore because I think that's been plenty. So, here's the outro to It's Tough Podcast with Magnum, Traub. Go follow me on Twitter at TraubTrue. Go watch my other podcast. I think that one was pretty good. You might, if you like this, if you listen all the way through, listen to that one. It might be kind of fun. And that's about it. Hope you guys have a fucking amazing day.